Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of this summer series. Now, one of the challenges I had to face when I was learning English was to understand, memorize, and use expressions and sayings in English. I'm gonna give you an example. So, because I'm Sicilian, I'm gonna use a Sicilian example. Imagine you're saying to a person from Milan, sta chiovendo a zuppa Vidrano. Apart from the clear difficulties in understanding that chiovino means piovendo, a zuppa means bagnare, Vidrano means contadino, it is still not clear that we are referring to very thin and consistent rain. Unless the person from Milan finds himself in the situation, can see the rain, and has an open mind about it, about the meaning that it could have. So I felt exactly like that person from Milan. And even though I knew the language quite well, every time I came across an English expression, I felt very unfamiliar with it. But then, out of the blue, it started to click. How? I'll tell you in a little bit. Let's take a walk. It is such a beautiful day, and I love the countryside, but it's a lot to work. For example, things are getting a little bit out of hand with the bush here under this little olive tree. And sometimes I have this voice in my head that keeps on telling me, Manu, you are so...
Hey, Manu.
That's right. Yeah, speak of the devil. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, but you are as lazy as a toad.
Yep. Well, you don't beat around the bush, do
No.
you? Anyway, I was just saying that. And would you cut me some slack? You know it's been crazy time. Work, cooking, and feeding the dogs, and Mars and Jupiter pulling my legs with their positioning. Making a long story short, yes, you're right. I am as lazy as a toad.
I know.
You can say that again.
Well, you just need to bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, better late than never. Moreover, if you don't do it, you don't get any olives, not olive oil, no pain, no gain. It's not rocket science.
All right, I get it, okay? You're completely right.
I know.
And I better do it and get it out of my system. I only hope that I won't get bitten by any crazy snakes or spiders or dogs.
We'll break a leg.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Gotta work.
Yeah. So what have you got there?
So, hand safety glasses.
Yeah, good job. Let's let her work. Now let's go back to sayings and expressions. They are very, very, very important, especially if you want to communicate in a real English context. Now, they denote culture, they denote character, and they really make you look like you are a native speaker. Now, as we said in episode 1, it's really important that you expose yourself to the language as much as possible. So, of course, if you don't live in an English-speaking country, it's going to be really hard to come across expressions and sayings. But luckily, nowadays, it's really easy. So, you could read an English book or you can watch an English movie. Those are the two best ways to come across any English sayings or expressions. Now, what really helped me was to accept that I couldn't know all the expressions and sayings. It's impossible. Not even for a native speaker, it's possible to do so. As much as for an Italian person, it's impossible to know all the Italians' modi di dire. So I understood that it was crucial for me to identify those sayings and expressions within a context, understand this context, and then try to guess the meaning of the expression by using my intuition. It didn't really matter if I got the exact meaning of it. So those expressions, they have two meanings, their literal meaning and their real meaning. Now, sometimes they are very similar, but other times the real meaning and the literal meaning have nothing to do with each other. And that's where intuition plays a very big role. I found that if I visualize the literal graphic meaning in my head, that will really help me to memorize the expressions and then feeling comfortable enough to use them. So I'm going to give you some examples.
But then, out of the blue, it started to click.
Things are getting a little bit out of hand, but you are as lazy as a toad.
You don't beat around the bush, do
No.
you? Would you cut me some slack? Mars and Jupiter pulling my legs with their position, making a long story short, yes. You're right.
Well, you just need to bite the bullet and do it. We'll break a leg.
Thank you very much.
Now let's watch the dialogue, the complete dialogue once more, but this time with the transcript below, with the subtitles. Now what you have to do, you have to do 4 things. First, you have to identify the expression. Second, you have to get the context. Third, use the context to work with your intuition. Fourth, finally, get the real meaning of the expression. Hey, Manu!
That's right. Yeah, speak of the devil. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, but you are as lazy as a toad.
Yep. Well, you don't beat around the bush, do
No.
you? Anyway, I was just saying that. And would you cut me some slack? You know it's been crazy time. Work, cooking, and feeding the dogs, and Mars and Jupiter pulling my legs with their position. Making a long story short, yes. You're right. I am as lazy as a toad.
I know.
You can say that again.
Well, you just need to bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, better late than never. Moreover, if you don't do it, you don't get any olives, not olive oil, no pain, no gain. It's not rocket science.
All right, I get it. I get it, okay? You're completely right.
I know.
And I better do it and get it out of my system. I only hope that I won't get bitten by any crazy snakes or spiders or dogs.
We'll break a leg.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Got it? Now, basically, in this case, it might have been quite easy because, of course, I highlighted the first time all the expressions and then you could see subtitles. So, of course, it's easier than in a real conversation situation. But still, it's an exercise, a mental exercise. And the more you do it, the better it is. Now, I'm going to leave a quiz below that you can do if you want to play with me and challenge yourself. And I'm going to give you the solution of this quiz right before, hey doggy, right before episode 3, which will be for children. Now, let's go back and see what Manu is up to. Hey Manu, how did it go?
Huh? How'd you go? Well, almost nailed it. One more thing. A Benedica.
Nossa, Benedica você. Bye. We'll go and catch your breath. Okay, so tips of the day on how to handle expressions and sayings in English. Tip number 1. Look actively for expressions within a context. Number 2. Identify and isolate them. Number 3. Understand the context. Number 4. Work with your intuition to understand the real meaning. Number 5. Understand and visualize their literal meaning. 6. use them. Use them as much as possible. How? Well, in your daily life, in front of the mirror, or when you see something and you think, for example, well, that person might need me to say, break a leg. Use them. Last but not least, tip of the day is to accept that your strength is not in knowing all the sayings. Your strength is to use the 6 tips from before in a way that it's convenient for you. And that's basically it. Keep your curiosity alive. See ya!